Okay, page 193. We're going to be now learning the halachas of a Seifer Torah and other holy books, Sifrei Kodesh. Now, it's a very important subject because in this chapter we're going to be dealing with the halachas of Geniza. Geniza is once a Sefer or something which, let's say, a worksheet, or this, for example. Once it was used, what do you do with it? How should it be treated? Are you allowed to put it upside down? Can you throw it in the garbage once you've finished? So although the chapter does deal with, in the beginning, the halachas of a Seifer Torah, the mitzvah to write a Seifer Torah, but we also do touch on the halachas pertaining to other svarim, other holy books. And it's very important because it also does deal with, especially in the school, it's very important with what do you do with handouts. Once you finished learning them, you can just throw them out, how they should be treated, so on and so forth. So Chav Ches, chapter 28, what was the page, I'm sorry? 193. 193, thank you. So 193. Hilchis Seifer Torah Ushar Sifrei Kodesh Uba Yud Gimel Seifim, the halachas of a Seifer Torah and other holy svarim, other holy books, and there are 13 halachas, 13 laws in this chapter. So Aleph, the first halacha, reads like this: Mitzvahs aseh al kol ish Yisrael. It's a mitzvah, a positive commandment on every single Jewish person. Lichtev le Seifer Torah, that they should write for themselves a Seifer Torah. Shenamar, like the Torah writes, "V'ata kisvu lachem es hashira hazos." And now you should write for yourselves this song. So how do we learn from the fact that it says this song that you have to write a Torah? The Kibul Chazal, the Chachamim have a tradition passed down from all the way from Hashem straight to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Moses, and the tradition that was passed down throughout all the generations, that when you read this verse, Pirushay, the way what this verse means is to write down the entire Torah which has in it this song. Right? The pasuk says, "Va'ata kisvu lachem es hashira hazos," and now you should write for yourselves this song. So the Chachamim have a tradition that what does it mean? You should write for yourself this song. It means the Seifer Torah which has in it this song. So it's not just the song itself, rather it includes the entire Seifer Torah, the entire Torah scroll. Va'afilu yarash Seifer Torah ma'aviv. Let's say somebody inherited a Seifer Torah from their father. No, it's not enough. Mitzvah lichtev mishalai. One still has the obligation, a mitzvah, to write for their own. How do you do? Oh, very good. We'll see in a second. Sachale Seifer lichtev le Seifer Torah. Somebody who hired a Sefer to write for themselves a Seifer Torah. Somebody who hired a scribe, write a Seifer Torah. You can't just go on Google, pick up the files, click print, and you have a Seifer Torah. There's many halachas on how it's supposed to be written. Every letter has to be exactly precise with all of the laws pertaining to that letter. The spacing has to be perfect. It has to be a perfect job. So not everyone's able to do that. So over here, we see that one is able to hire a scribe to do so for them, or one purchased a Seifer Torah that needed to be fixed, and you went ahead and you actually fixed it. The halacha is, it's as if it's treated as if you actually wrote this Sefer. For Aser Limker Seifer Torah, one is not allowed to sell a Seifer Torah. If there's a very big need, Yasser She'elas Chacham. One should ask a shaila, yeah?
You can't sell it to Goyim, or you can't sell it at all?
You can't sell it at all. You can't sell it at all. A Seifer Torah should never be sold. There's only one or two exceptions when it's allowed to be sold, and that is if somebody needs to build a mikvah, if somebody needs to get married, somebody needs to get married, and there's no possible other way to get funds rather to sell the Seifer Torah, those are generally the most common ways that it's okay. But today it's not such a Baruch Hashem, it's not such a need, because there's many other ways of, if somebody needs to combine the funds rather than to sell the Seifer Torah. But correct, a Seifer Torah is not allowed to be sold. Yeah. Base. Mitzvah. So that's with the Seifer Torah. So we see there's a mitzvah for everybody to write the Seifer Torah. Now, what's done in practice today is that every Jewish child, when they're born, their parents get them a letter in the Seifer Torah. So even though if one is not a child anymore, you can still get yourself a letter in the Seifer Torah. I do believe there's one special just for adults. A quick Google search will be able to find it, how to do it. It's very, very easy. It's $1, and that letter is written out for you, and it's as if you wrote that Torah. Base. Now we see there's one mitzvah to write the Seifer Torah. Now there's a second mitzvah. The second mitzvah is not just the Seifer Torah, but there's also a mitzvah to purchase svarim. Right? If you go to most houses, most homes, you'll see there's a lot of svarim. There's a lot of holy books, because this is the mitzvah, not just to have a Seifer Torah, but there's also an additional mitzvah to have svarim, to have holy books that we learn from. What can these books include? Kagain, Mikra, you have the Chumash, the whole Tanakh, the Nevi'im, Ksuvim, the prophets, the Mishnah, you have Mishnayos, the Gemara, Upeiskim, the halachic books, that one should learn from themselves, and they should lend out to their friends. Now, so even if you're not going to be learning all these books, but Mirz Hashem, when you have a family and you're going to have your own home, it's a very important thing to make sure that the svarim are a priority. You have a nice collection of svarim for your family that they should be able to learn. And it should be something which is prominent in the home. When you come in, you see, the svarim, it's one of the first things you see. Let's say somebody can't afford to purchase a Seifer Torah and other svarim. They can only do one or the other. So again, as we mentioned, today it's very easy. Today you could do both. You can go online, purchase a letter in the Seifer Torah. This is very, very easy, and you do the mitzvah. But in theory, let's say the service is not available, and you can only either get yourself a Seifer Torah or you can get yourself other holy books. So the halacha is the holy books actually take a precedence. Why? Very simple. Because the books that you need to learn, so you should know what to do, that takes precedence. And Amr Razal, the Chachamim said, V'tzidkasei emedes lo'ad, and his righteousness stands forever. Zeh ha'kesef svarim ha'mashilim la'acherim. This is the one whose righteousness stands forever. This is the one who writes svarim and lends them out to others. Gimel, the third halacha. Now we're getting more into the practical, meaning what's relevant from day-to-day life. It's important to buy svarim all the time, but it's an occurrence that happens not every single day. But this is more of a daily occurrence. Chayev Adam Linhei Kavod Gadol b'Seifer Torah. One is obligated to show a lot of respect to the Seifer Torah. Mitzvah liyached le'makom. It's a mitzvah that the Seifer Torah, it should have its own designated space. And one should honor the place where the Seifer Torah is, and it should beautify it. It should be a beautiful place. The Yare connected the Seifer Torah. One should not spit in front of the Seifer Torah. The Yecha Seifer Torah b'lei mitpachas. One should not hold the Seifer Torah without its cover. Hareyas and Nesa Seifer Torah. One who sees somebody carrying a Seifer Torah, tzarech lamed lefanav. What you have to stand up for the Seifer Torah. Ad sheyachnis as a Seifer Torah lemukeme until the Seifer Torah reaches its place. Or until you can't see it anymore. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, but I have a question. In 7:7, when they were take this temperature from to the
Bima, yeah.
to the bima, we need to stand the whole time because sometimes it take a long time.
So the answer is yeah, meaning it's one should stand. Yeah, one should stand. In the ladies section, it is a little bit more lenient because you're in a different rishus. You're in a different. You're on a whole different level. So the bima is elevated. In 770, the bima is also elevated, right? It's not on ground level. So technically, there is room for leniency that once the Seifer Torah is on the bima, so everyone on the first floor theoretically could already sit. So if it's hard for one to stand, if you're on the second floor, there is more leniency to sit, but it's best if one can stand. Yeah. In the shul, at the time, when in the shul, when they take out the Seifer Torah to the bima where they read it, or back to the Aron Kodesh, to the Holy Ark where it sits, mitzvah lakel mishaveres lefanov. It's a mitzvah for every single person that when the Seifer Torah passes by you, to actually walk it to its place. Also, one who does Hagba, one who lifts the Seifer Torah after you read it, and the one who does Galila, you see after the Seifer Torah, they roll it up, they sit down, and they put on the cover. So these two people, they have a mitzvah when they take back the Torah to the Aron Kodesh, to the Holy Ark, that they should actually go back and walk together with the Seifer Torah. Okay, Dalet, the fourth halacha. This is all by a Seifer Torah. Now we'll see the same mitzvah applies by other holy books, by other Sifrei Kodesh. Dalet, afilu shar Sifrei Kodesh, even other holy books, imunachim al safsal, if they're placed on a bench, also liyeshem al safsal zeis, one cannot sit on that same bench. The one exclusion, or the one way where it is allowed is if you take the Sefer, you take the holy book, and you put it on something else, which is at least one tefach high, which is around 8 centimeters. Usually, a fist is around 8 centimeters. So if you take the holy book, you take the Sefer, and you put it on top of something, then you can sit on the same bench as the Sefer. The kol shekain, the asur laniach svarim al gabi karka, and for sure one cannot put the books, the holy books, the svarim, on the floor. Lo yaniach adam sefer al brechav ushnei tzilei yadav alav. V'shas adchak mutar liyeshem al gabi teva sheyesh ba shar sifrei kodesh, aval im yesh ba sefer Torah asur.
If you have the carpet,
Yeah.
the floor, can you put it or no?
Also not. On the carpet, also not. It should be put on something which is at least a
Can you put
tefach.
a pillow and then put the.
Yeah, if the pillow is high enough, you can put, yeah, that works. Yeah. Now, what about Svarim themselves? You have the holy books. What has precedence? If you're stacking them up, what goes on top of what? So that Manichim Chumashim Al Gabi Neviim, a Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, right? That comes on top of the Neviim, Uksuvim, the prophets. V'chein Ksuvim Al Gabi Neviim. You see, the Ksuvim come on top of the Neviim. The Neviim Al Gabi Ksuvim. Either way is okay. So we have the Tanakh, right? So the Chumash takes precedence that the Chumash goes on top of everything else. Nevi'im could be placed on top of Ksuvim, which is the right Tanakh is Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. Do we have one here? Oh, so you see over here, right? The prophets, you have it over here. So Chumash would go on top of the prophets. You're learning Shmuel or Malachim, whatever it is. So Chumash always takes precedence. It comes on top of those Svarim. And in those Svarim itself, if it's just the prophets, you can put whichever one you want on top of the other, as long as you don't put it on top of a Chumash. A Chumash always goes on top. Hey, the fifth halacha. Seifer Torah Shabala Gainzin Eisei. A Seifer Torah, a Torah scroll, which is worn out, it's finished, you can't use it anymore. So what can you just throw it in the garbage? No, Pastor Shalom, for sure not. So what do? You put it in Geniza. Geniza means there's a special section in the Jewish cemetery where they put holy books and it's buried over there. The same is true to other Svarim, holy books. Once, let's say, it got damaged to a point where you can't use it anymore, you can't salvage it anymore, you can't fix it. You don't just throw it out. It has to be placed in Geniza. It has to be placed in a special place where it's taken afterwards for proper burial. Also, the Seraphim, obviously one cannot burn them. Vav, the sixth halacha. Ein zerkin kisvei kedesh v'afil halachas v'agados. One cannot throw the holy books. You want to just pass it to your friend, stuff like that. Instead of going all the way around and giving it to them, it's easier to throw it, right? So halacha is we don't throw svarim. This is also important. One cannot take a sefer and put it upside down. It's very important. Svarim always have to be right side up. Sure, yeah.
So if you wear Chumash,
Yeah.
this is your cup?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. It has a chumash inside, yeah. Yeah.
What about?
Sorry? Oh. So Tehillim will go on top of the siddur.
What? I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
Why?
Because.
Because the siddur is thicker.
What?
Because the siddur is thicker. Yeah. So the truth is like this. Many of the siddurim anyways have the Tehillim printed in the back. So 1 second, how can you print the Tehillim on the bottom?
What?
I'm asking you a question. If the Tehillim comes on top, it's from the Nevi'im Ksuvim, how can you print it on the bottom of the siddur? If it comes on top, how can you print it on the bottom? Right, it's towards the back of the siddur. How can they do that?
Because after there is something.
Oh, the answer is because once it becomes one sefer, once it's one, there's already no more precedence of which one goes on top of the other. Only if it's two separate svarim, if it's two separate books, then it makes a difference which one goes on top. So we said that one cannot throw svarim. They should not be put up down. If somebody actually found them upside down, one has to turn them to the proper side. We're going to skip to halacha tes, the ninth halacha. One cannot use a sefer for their own personal benefits. What does that mean? So an example is let's say it's very bright outside, so you can't take a sefer and just cover the sun for a second while you're passing by, so it shouldn't be bright in your eyes. That is not allowed because one cannot derive benefit. One cannot use a sefer, a holy book, for their own benefit. Also, let's say you're taking a test and you see your friend is peeking over to see your answers. So one cannot take a sefer to block so your friend should not be able to see. That's not allowed. Probably at this age you don't do that, but if you're just in case. If the sun is shining very strongly on the Seifer that you're learning from, let's say, for whatever reason, you have a Seifer and the sun is shining very brightly on the Seifer. Let's say the Seifer is made out of a material that, it's going to get ruined a little bit. So you are allowed to take another Seifer, which is not going to get ruined so easily, to block the sun from going on the original Seifer, because you're not doing it for your own need. The problem is to do it for yourself. If you're doing it for the need of the other Seifer, that's okay. Okay. Sefer Tachas Sefer Shuleimed Bekadei Lagviyait L'Tzerech Halimud Yesh Lahatir. This is very, very interesting. We just read it inside, but let's see if you can guess. Can I take a Sefer, put it down over here, and put my Sefer over here, so I can, so it's more comfortable for me to read. Is that allowed? Well, you cheated. You looked inside. The answer is over here. It says Yesh Lahatir, that one is allowed to do so. So it's not so simple. It says over here that Yesh Lahatir, that it is allowed, but it's actually brought down in the big Shulchan Aruch that one shouldn't. However, the Taz, one of the commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch, writes, let's say I have the Sefer is already sitting here. I didn't put it here for the purpose of putting my other Sefer over here. It was sitting here already. Since it's sitting here already, I didn't do anything extra, then I'm allowed to put my Sefer like this. But to take a Sefer and to put it special for that purpose, it's better not to. But over here, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, he does paskin Yesh Lahatir. There is room to be lenient to do so. Wow, this is already something else. This is these halachas are very important. I'm stepping out of the room, somebody's calling me, I need to get a drink, whatever it is, but I don't want to lose my spot in the Sefer. But I don't have a bookmark and I don't have anything else. Can I take my Sefer, if you look inside, you know the answer, and go like this, so I don't lose my spot? No, what does it say inside? No, you can't do that. Correct.
Okay, can we see the open? But when it's about the reference,
oh, very good. That's a good question. So, correct. You can't flip it upside down either. So you could take your phone and put it there like that. You can take something else. You can take a tissue. You can find something else, or not so simple.
Every time I send them, the woman just leave and.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't leave your Sefer open. Maybe we'll see if it says it over here explicitly. So another thing you can do is, believe it or not, you can remember the page number and close your Sefer. So when you come back, you'll remember which spot to open it to. But the point is, one should not use a Sefer as a bookmark. Lo yisarta dez a kuntras ala Sefer. Levi shein kedusha bekuntras ad sheyichtav v'vay v'chein lo yaniach niyar uchadem b'sefer l'mishvaris. Okay. Yud. Hama'abed Kitzur Kodesh, one who destroys Kitzur Kodesh, holy Svarim, holy books, Ever Balav, Sasun Kain LaShem Elekecha. There's a prohibition to destroy Seifer Kodesh, holy books. Otzrichen Limches Bekeche Svarim Shemedabkin Betecha Luchos Kitzur Kodesh. This is very, very important. Anytime, you're going on Mitzrayim, you're giving out pamphlets that have in it psukim, that have in it different things, it's actually very, very important to make sure that whoever produces these pamphlets, whatever it is, to write on it instructions. This should not be disposed of. If you're going on Mitzrayim, so somebody doesn't know what Geniza is, contact your local Orthodox rabbi on how to dispose the Sfarim, because there is a prohibition of destroying Kisvei Kodesh, of destroying holy books. And it's not just holy books, but any pamphlets with psukim, with halachis, with agadas, with stories from Chazal that are brought in the Gemara. These things in the Talmud, they cannot go in the garbage and they cannot go on the floor, even if it's just a pamphlet and it's not a full Seifer. But it is very important, to have this in mind, that if you're printing something to give out, or just in the seminary, whatever it is, it's important to make sure that these papers that have these holy writings on them do not go on the floor, they do not go in the garbage, they should be disposed of properly, because it's actually a complete prohibition, chas v'shalom, if they go to the garbage, or if they lay on the floor, or if they're destroyed. Actually, this just reminds me, when Chassidus first started, it was not first started, but by the times of the Alter Rebbe, when they were putting out different printings of the Tanya, whatever it is, so on and so forth, one of the complaints of the Misnagdim was, you're taking the Evan HaTev Shel Kesser HaMelech, you're taking the deepest secrets of Torah, the deepest, most inner parts of the Torah, and at the time, it was being printed, and the papers were flying all over. It was on the floors, on the streets, whatever it is. So people were coming to complain with complaints. How can it be? You're leaving such a holy thing, and you're allowing it to be disposed of on the floor, on the garbage. This is how you treat holy books. So this is an interesting answer. The answer that was given was a mashal, an example. That if there was a king once and his son was chas v'shalom not well, and the doctor came, he evaluated him and he assessed that your only way to get better is if you take the crown jewel from the king's own crown, right? That jewel, you have to grind it up, completely destroy it, and even if you got a drop of this new dust, because you completely grinded it up, you take the dust, the leftovers of this jewel, and if you put it into water, and if even a drop of the jewel gets into your son's system, then he'll live. So the same answer was given to those who were complaining that there was a fire burning at the time when Chassidus first started, it was first revealed. There's a fire burning in Klal Yisrael amongst the Jewish people. The level where the Yidden were holding by it wasn't so good, and they needed to be reawakened in the commitment of Torah mitzvahs, of the love of Hashem, of the service of Hashem. So he said, by Chassidus, you can have a lot going to waste, just like by this crown jewel. Most of it went to waste, but halavai, a drop should go in, and this should be enough to revitalize a Jew in the service of Hashem. So we're learning over here the exact opposite, that you have to be completely careful with Sfarim, that chas v'shalom, they shouldn't go in the garbage, they shouldn't, and this includes not just holy books, but this includes any pamphlets which have any Torah in them. It has to be taken extra care to make sure that they do not fall on the floor. If it happens, it's okay, you pick it up, but you have to make sure to pick it up, and they shouldn't land in the garbage, chas v'shalom. Okay. Yud Aleph. Ein loichen Seifer Torah tefillin l'mezuzos min ha'akom b'yesem mikdei d'meihan. Why? Kedei shelei b'hargilan l'ganvan l'gazlan. אבל בכדי דמיהם חייבים להיכנס אפילו במקום שצריכים גניזו. So it happened in the past, it still happens from time to time, unfortunately, where you can have thieves and they steal Seifer Torahs, Tefillin, Mezuzahs, Chas v'Shalom. It exists. You know, they want to make just like they can steal anything, they can steal a bike, whatever it is, they want to make a quick few dollars. So sometimes there are people in this world who would also steal Seifer Torah, Tefillin, Mezuzahs. They're called thieves, right? So the halacha is, now as a Jew, you came to the pawn shop, or you came to the thief himself, and you see, oh no, there's tefillin over here. Do you have an obligation to now go ahead to save these tefillin or these svarim from the thief, right? Because if you don't, chances are nobody else is going to buy it, and it has to may land in the garbage. So one should not pay more than their value. Why? Because what happens if you're going to pay a lot for them? The thieves are going to see, oh, this is a good business. I can make a good profit off of this, right? So therefore, you shouldn't overpay for it. However, for its value, what it's worth, one should pay for it. And even if they're not a kosher pair anymore, one should still purchase them to put them in geniza. And if the thief is now asking for way more than its value, then you have an obligation to actually try to bargain with them. You know, to speak nicely, to try to really convince them. Maybe he'll lower his price for its value. If the thief is standing with his price, is not budging, you leave it in their hands. You shouldn't lower the price for way below the market value. Maybe the thief is going to get upset. I'm, what do you think I am? I'm free for all, and he'll throw them out. So therefore, you pay the value, and that's it. And there's a very famous story. It's a funny story also. Once a shliach, was in the pawn shop, or wherever it was, he stopped by, and he saw there's tefillin over there. And he knows that the owner obviously stole them. There's no way that the tefillin got there any other way. So he says, oh, let me check out this item. I'm a rabbi, I know what this is. So he puts it on, and he says, what's going on over here? The other arm is missing. You're giving me a half a set over here. So he says, I'll give it to me, I'll buy it, I'll give you $20 for it. It's an incomplete set. So the merchant obviously didn't know the difference. He said, oh, it's an incomplete set, no problem, take it for 20. So, so he used was a good seichel. Okay. If Seifer Torah miyade, if Chas v'Shalom a Seifer Torah fell from one's hands, even if it's in its case, in its cover, Sarich lehis anis, one has to fast. The noihagim shagam harayim misanim. The minhag is that also those who see the Seifer Torah falling also fast. This is one day, but usually this doesn't happen. If it does happen, don't run to fast. Rather ask a question, meaning ask what to do. One should not write a full pasuk without sirtut, without the lines. Today it's a little bit different when we're printing. Okay, so we just finished this chapter. let's do a quick review. Is there a mitzvah to write a Seifer Torah? Yeah. It's very hard for a person to write a Torah by themselves. So what could a person do in order to fulfill this mitzvah? Do they actually have to buy all the parchment, buy special ink, learn how to write the letters, learn how to space them out? Is that an obligation that a person must do this? Oh, you can get a Seifer to do it for you. Yep. What happens if I bought a Seifer Torah and it was complete, but I didn't write it? All I did is I bought it. Did I fulfill the mitzvah of writing a Seifer Torah? No. Only on one exception. If I fixed it. If it wasn't complete, or it had a problem in it, and you fixed it, so then it's considered as if you wrote the entire Seifer Torah. Well, you're right, according to one opinion. There's two opinions in the Rishonim, Shittas Rambam, Shittas Aruch. We're not going to get into that, but okay. Based this. Now, this is all by a Seifer Torah. What happens? Is there the same obligation? Is there an obligation on every single person to buy other holy books, or it's a nice thing to do? It's a mitzvah. It's the same way it's a mitzvah. Now, I have two mitzvahs in front of me. I'm only able to do one of them, which again, it's today's day and age. It's not so true because today you can buy a letter in the Seifer Torah $1, so it's not, you can do it online and you fulfill the mitzvah with that, but I have two mitzvahs in front of me, and let's say theoretically I'm only able to do one of them. I can write a Seifer Torah, or I can purchase shvatim that I'm going to be using. Which one comes first? The shvatim that you're going to be using. Yeah, exactly. Okay. There's a bench where I'm about to sit, and I see a sefer on this bench. What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? If I want to sit down, you can't sit down. What could I do? You put it on something which is at least a tefach, 8 centimeters, or you can put it on the table. You just take it off, and if it's available, not always do you have that option. If you don't have that option, so then you can place something between the bench and the sefer. It should be at least 8 centimeters, and that's enough. What comes on top of what? Can a chumash? Can I put a siddur on top of a chumash? No. What about a Talmud? Can I put a Talmud on top of a chumash? No. A chumash always goes on top. Then come Nevi'im Uksuvim. They can go on top of each other. That makes no difference which one. Anything from the prophets, there's no precedence. They can go on top of each other. A chumash, nothing can be placed on top of a chumash. A chumash always goes on top. A Seifer Torah that is no longer fit for use. It was worn out. It's finished. Can I throw it in the garbage? No. What can I do? Good news. Exactly.
What do you do to use it?
They bury it. That's it. That's it.
They bury it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in a special place in the cemetery. Yeah.
Is it better where?
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, it's a designated area they have.
Siddur is Ktuvim.
So Siddur has in it Ktuvim because it has in it a lot of psukim from Tehillim and also from the Torah, from the Az Yashir. But it's not a full sefer of Nevi'im. It's not a full sefer of Ktuvim. That's why it doesn't have the same status of a regular Nevi'im Ktuvim. I want to give a sefer to somebody, but they're just way too far, and it's going to be much easier if I just throw it to them. Can I throw it to them? No. I can either get up and bring it to them, or I can ask somebody else to pass it to them, but definitely throwing is not allowed. Can I have a sefer and put it upside down? No. Yeah, very good. What happens if I didn't put it upside down, but I found it upside down? Can I leave it? No, you have to turn it right side up. What am I allowed to do with the Seifer? What am I not allowed to do? Can I use it as a protection from the sun? No. Can I protect another Seifer from the sun with the Seifer? If it's for the purpose of another Seifer, yes. It's not for myself. If I'm doing it for another Seifer, it's allowed. Can I use another Seifer as a stander to leave my Seifer like this on the bottom? Yeah, if you didn't bring it there, it was already sitting there, you could be lenient. Yeah, we've discussed that it is completely also, it's completely forbidden to chas v'shalom destroy holy books. This does include pamphlets that were used that have psukim on them, so on and so forth. It should not just be thrown out. It has to be disposed of properly in Geniza. If I went to a pawn shop or any other store of that nature, and I found a Seifer Torah, tefillin, and mezuzah that I know for a fact were stolen, but what is my obligation to save them? Anyone remember? The obligation is to pay their value. If the merchant is asking for way too much, you don't give it to them. You have to try to bargain, but if they're not budging, you don't give it to them, because if you do, it can encourage chas v'shalom more stealing of Seifer Torah, tefillin, and mezuzahs. And also, you shouldn't offer too low, because if they offer too low, you may upset the merchant and he'll just throw it out. So you give it its value, you pay for the value, and that's it. If a Seifer Torah falls, even if it's in its case, the person who dropped it fasts, and the minig is those who saw it also fast. Okay, Emret Hashem, we'll continue. So tomorrow I won't be here. I'm going to be. I'm switching with Rabbi Hanoka. Emret Hashem Thursday. Emret Hashem. Okay. Yeah, call him.